Everybody, and welcome to our quarterly team member meeting. We have a pretty full agenda, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. Today I want to talk to you about the exciting topic of Qtmm. So, I have a prize for somebody that answers my question correctly, and it happens to be Wilbur Buds, okay? I'm just putting that out there. Now, I have some people that cannot participate in this question. If you are a Qtmm team member, or you're a member of the executive leadership team, you cannot participate. But can someone tell me, don't blurt it out, raise your hand, who knows what Qtmm, Q-A-P-I, stands for? Ooh, go ahead. Ooh, all right, woohoo. So I'm going to take it. It's very quality assurance, performance improvement, process improvement. It sounds great. You're paying great attention. So I will catch up with you afterwards and give you your Wilbur Buds, but very good, very good. All right, so that's a lot of words, right? Quality assurance, performance improvement. But it's a simple idea and concept. And basically, it's about how we are consistently providing the best quality care, possible care and services, and then continue to get better and evolve. And so when we think about what the program's about, it's ongoing, so Qtmm never ends. It continually is ongoing. It's an organization-wide approach to improving quality, safety, and outcomes, so all levels of care participate in our Qtmm process. It is data-driven, so we're looking for real information, different types of trends, and results. And it's a proactive approach. So we're not just responding to problems, but we're looking at and trying to identify how do we prevent problems or prevent reoccurrence from problems that do happen. And it's comprehensive. So it touches on everything we do, from clinical care, dining, housekeeping, life enrichment, and many more, all of our areas really. And when we're considering feedback related to Qtmm, we're listening to residents, we're listening to their family members, and we're listening to you as our team members. And we're monitoring clinical outcomes and quality care. And how we do that, we'll do that through We Care Connect. We meet with our residents and their family members through care conferences. And that's how we'll identify areas that we want to focus on and work towards improvement. And so why does Qtmm matter? So Qtmm matters because it directly impacts pretty much everyone. Our residents, so it ensures that they receive safe, high-quality care, maintaining dignity, autonomy, and quality of life. Our team members, so for you all when you're participating, it helps create a better work environment where processes are clear, challenges are addressed, and staff voices are heard. And then as an organization, it supports our regulatory compliance, accountability, and continuous improvement. And so a big takeaway maybe is that Qtmm is not something we do as an extra. It's part of everything that we do. And so every time you, as a team member, speaks up about safety concerns, you share an idea to improve a process, or you notice a trend or an area of opportunity, you're participating in our Quality Assurance Performance Improvement Program. And so to just close out our Qtmm moment here, Qtmm reflects on who we are as an organization. We listen, we learn, we improve, and we all do it together. So whether you knew it or not before this little talk, you contribute to Qtmm and you make a difference every day. That truly matters. So the other topic that I just wanted to touch on briefly, we are at that time of year where we could have some severe weather events, right, spring and summertime. So when I think about our spring and summer, right, it's not that bad S word that we think about, that we had enough of this past year, that we don't need any for another couple of years, unless you're Roger. When I think about severe weather, thunderstorms, severe thunderstorms, tornado warnings, flash flooding, extreme heat, and then some of those things often lead to power outages. So these things can tend to escalate quickly, and they require us to act with awareness and urgency. So different ways to take action: staying alert and informed, so pay attention to the emergency weather alerts, and they come on your phones now, guys, so as soon as your phone starts beeping and making that annoying noise, take a minute and look at it. For those of you that carry Sarah phones, it's gonna alert on your Sarah phone. And then when you hear that or you see that, you want to go to your supervisor to report to them for direction, and they're gonna let you know what steps that we need to take and how we need to prioritize our safety and our residents' safety. You know, key components are keeping calm and offer residents reassurance, but some key principles when it comes to reacting to severe weather is moving residents and yourselves with the residents to interior areas of the building, away from windows and exterior walls, and get to a lower level if possible. For our residential living, and that's for our healthcare and personal care residents. For residential living residents, there's some different areas that we have identified throughout our building that they can report to that we would consider safer than others. An example, like, nobody should be hanging out in the Apple Orchard Cafe where there's a lot of glass around. This is another area that we wouldn't consider a place to go and gather. So we think about the hallway near the sports lounge, the storage hallway near the fitness center, or the area in the back hallway beyond the reception area. Those are areas that are designated with interior walls and no windows. So those would be appropriate areas to direct our residential living residents to. Our cottage and villa residents are directed to seek shelter on the inside wall of a room in the residence away from any windows. So when severe weather happens, what matters most is how we respond, right? Staying calm, acting quickly, and then supporting one another, and always keeping our residents at the center of our decision-making. And that's what keeps our community safe. So thank you for the important role that you play in keeping our community safe and the ability to react as needed during these circumstances. So thank you for all you do. And next up, I've got Steve coming up and sharing some financial results with us.
Thanks, Monique. I know we're on a tight agenda, so I'm going to move pretty quickly here. We're looking at the financial performance of the organization. This is all living branches, all 3 campuses, from July 1st through March 31st, so this is 9 months. So for the first 9 months, our revenue was just a little bit better than budget. And so while room and board was under budget due to some vacancy in personal care and Serenata PC primarily, that's been offset with higher entrance fee earnings in residential living, and that comes from certainly is enhanced when we have turnover and we have new residents coming in. So that's been positive. Monique already mentioned some of our expense challenges. I know it's hard to remember today, but we actually had a lot of snow in December, January, and February, so we were way over budget in snow removal expenses. As of March here, our expenses are actually just a little bit under budget by about $44,000. So we've had savings in other areas or where we've not had to spend. So that's been positive. So good place to be in the first 9 months. On the scorecard here, as you know, if you've heard me before, occupancy is the #1 thing we pay attention to from a revenue standpoint. And so we look at this regularly. And I'll just note the healthcare centers on Dock and Souderton, good green target there, and so that's been positive. And you can see here in Serenata PC, both at Souderton and at Dock, we were under budget or under our target in occupancy. Now it was improving, and it continued to improve in April, and so that's been positive. But that's where we saw some of that vacancy loss. Still have some challenges here at Souderton Personal Care where we're not as full as we would like to be. And then Monique also mentioned safety and the quality assurance. I was at a conference yesterday, an educational session really, that's put on by our a group that we're with from a risk management standpoint. And again, they reiterated as well that, we can all play a part in identifying those areas of risk, whether it's equipment or buildings or systems or processes where that creates a risk. So this workers' compensation expense graph is both our premium that we pay and our experience modification, and that's really just a score that is calculated that the state gives us on the severity and frequency of team member injuries. So we're on a positive trend, you can see on that experience modification, and that has a positive impact on our premium. And so we want to keep that modifier below 1 because it's a multiplier. So every time we're below 1, it reduces our premium. If we're above 1, because we've had a lot of incidents or had severe incidents, it significantly impacts our premium. So every dollar we have to pay for that insurance premium is something that we can't spend on the other parts of our mission. So I encourage you and thank you for the work that you do in maintaining a safe working environment, both for your own benefit and team members, but also for our residents and visitors as well. That's it. Thank you. Told you I'd be quick.
Hi there. My name is Christine. I'm the recruiter here at Living Branches, and I am excited to share an update for the HR team about recruiting. One of our initiatives this year is to streamline our recruiting process, and we're able to do that with a new applicant tracking system. Now, what does that mean? Well, the way that we recruit right now, is that better? Is that better? Okay, thanks guys. The way that we recruit right now is pretty manual, so requests come into me, I post them individually to each site that we use, and then I review every resume that comes in. Applications and resumes can come in from all different ways, a phone call, a quick email about a friend, voicemails, Indeed, applications directly into my email, resumes that get mailed, people still do that. So sometimes it can be a bit chaotic to manage. Because of the volume of applications that we get, there can be delayed responses, sometimes missed candidates, or simply an overwhelming number of people to page through. After interviews, there's not one specific place for feedback or way to track the next steps, but all that's changing. We are working on implementing an applicant tracking system. This is software that is going to help us manage the hiring process from start to finish by organizing job postings, applications, candidate communication, interview scheduling, and feedback all in one spot. As hiring becomes more competitive, we need tools that help us move faster, stay organized, and create a better experience for both candidates and hiring managers. The ATS will help us do just that. It keeps everything in one place: resumes, interview notes, candidate status, feedback, everything in one system, which improves communication and makes the hiring process more efficient. Automated workflows and resume screening means faster, consistent communication with supervisors and candidates. It can also improve the candidate experience with faster follow-up and clear communication to keep them engaged. The ATS will also give us better data and visibility into our process so we can track where we're excelling, where we might be hitting some bottlenecks, and that'll help us to continuously improve. The ATS, again, help us improve efficiency, strengthen the candidate experience, and give us better insight into our recruiting efforts. We're excited to roll that out later this summer, so stay tuned. Thanks. Now for Chris and Tim.
Good afternoon. Can everybody hear me? Okay. I'm Qtmm, the Chief HR Officer, and I am going to quickly but very eloquently go through our mentorship program. So why do we want to have a mentorship program here at Living Branches? Well, we want to make sure we have a really great welcome for all of our new team members. This builds a strong connection from day one. You know, if you think about either yourself, your kids, your grandkids, that first day of school can be a little unnerving. And to know that you're going to be matched up with somebody who has a friendly face and knows our organization, it eases that, you know, kind of anxiety about the first day of work. It helps our team members, so the people that are actually serving as mentors, they feel confident, valued, and included in that process, and we're really about together working to make this a meaningful initiative. And then, of course, it strengthens our mission and our core values. So a program overview. So I really like this icon that I found. So the mentor pairing process. So our leadership teams in each of the departments will identify people within their departments. They'll look at people with a lot of experience, really great communication skills, and really represent our mission and core values. Those individuals then get to go to training with Samantha White, and that's done after every virtual orientation. It's online, and once you have completed that training, you get a pin that says you are a mentor. If you know anybody who's a mentor, they're very proud of those pins and will let you know that they got those. And then they follow a meeting schedule. So ideally, it's over 12 weeks, because we want to focus on that first 90 days. Obviously, for pool team members, it's a little bit longer, but the goal is to keep that on track in that introductory period. The mentors provide support and guidance, so they answer questions maybe they're a little awkward about asking. They can tell you where to park, where the restroom's located. Hey, if you go out this exit, it takes you here. They're very helpful. And then there's the program accountability. So after the 12 weeks is completed, there's information that is provided to say, okay, this is completed, and then there is a recognition. So there's a monetary bonus to those mentors when they mentor an individual. And I should note that a mentor can have more than one mentee, because could be because of when we hire and just the flow. So what do the mentors do? Well, they make that first week connection. So it's really important that they are touching base with that mentee, so that new hire that's coming on board. We also expect that, and we know that our departments do that really well, also through our orientation programs, but this is just something a little bit extra. Then there's weekly support meetings, so it's checking in. They can be casual meetings. We do provide a structured template to help guide those conversations, but a lot of the times it can happen organically and keeps everyone on track. And then there is supervisor involvement. So the supervisors will check in routinely with the mentors to say, hey, how's it going that first 90 days? Our supervisors have a lot on their plate, our leaders have a lot on their plate, so they can't check in with every new team member. So if they have an extra set of eyes and they can give that feedback, they can know, okay, are these things that we can work on and to help this individual. So we did run a pilot program, and that started at the end of last year. So I just want to thank the departments that graciously volunteered after I selected them. That would be Dockwood's Personal Care, Souderton Mennonite Homes Healthcare, and the Willows at Dining Services. So what we learned from the pilot program is we wanted to test the structure. So we wanted to test the tools, the training, and actually the experience that the mentors and the departments were having. So we learned structure, so tools are good, they're helpful, particularly when you're scheduling your mentors and how to keep track of who's assigned to the new hires. I will give Megan's not here, but Megan Flamini did a wonderful job of creating a template that we are going to use and share with all the departments and Living Branches. Early connection increases confidence. So again, that goes both ways. It goes for the new hire as well as for the mentor. Like I said, mentors are highly engaged, very proud of those pins, but also they feel noticed. And we want to show them that we care and that we believe in them in helping to engage with our new team members. It's also a great support for the supervisors. So some of the feedback we heard is, there could be a new team member that might be struggling with attendance, or maybe it's just some part of their job that the supervisor has been made aware of. They can tap on those mentors and say, hey, can you just check in with that person? It's a more gentle way to get to somebody and say, hey, what's going on? Can I help you out? And really then they'll feel that the whole team cares, and it's not, hey, you're doing something wrong. It's the opposite of that. It's really lifting them up. And then the program supported belonging in the first 90 days. So we want to focus on obviously having a great applicant tracking tool so we can do some wonderful recruitment. But an even bigger piece is retaining the employees that are the team members that we bring on board and keep them here. So what's next? We're going to roll out the program across living branches. We're going to continue with the ongoing training. We're going to collaborate with the departments because it may look different for each department depending on the roles and their schedules. Always going to look for improvements, so we're open to that feedback and we're going to be looking for it. So if it's like, hey, this isn't working, we want to know so we can make it better, because the goal is not for this to be another thing to do, but have this really be a part of who we are at Living Branches and have it be a part of our onboarding experience and have it be what makes us stand out as opposed to some of the other communities. And then ultimately, it supports the culture of belonging for all of our team members.
Is everybody okay if I don't stand up there? Let me grab my... No. All right. I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. So first things first, my name is Samantha White. I'm the Director of Talent and Culture, and I'm here to talk to you today about one-to-ones. And some people are probably groaning. If you're a manager and you're trying to schedule a department of 90 people for one-to-ones, you might be, oh my gosh, we're talking about this again. But we are. We're going to talk about it. And first thing we're going to do is I'm going to ask everybody to stand up, and I promise this will be quick. Everybody, please stand up. Favor, stand up. Okay. Now, I'd like you to turn to the person next to you or behind you and extend a greeting to them. Shake their hand, say hello, give them a fist pump. How do you normally do it? Fist pump. Hey, hi, how you doing? Do you do a fist pump? Do you shake hands? Elbows? You can touch an elbow. Okay. Sit down. It's okay. So, okay, everybody sit down. Thank you for entertaining me with that. So think about, what did you observe? I mean, obviously we have some people that won't touch anyone, and it's okay. But for the rest of you, what did you observe? What did you do? You smiled. What else did you do? Interaction. You reached out. You offered your hand. And what did they do? They didn't go running in the other direction. They offered their hand as well. Or if you're doing fist pump, they put their fist pump up and they pumped you back, or they gave you the elbow. You engaged with each other, right? You actively connected with the people around you. And I want you to think about that. Think about the concept of actively engaging between you and your manager and your team members, okay? Because ultimately, that's what your one-to-ones are about. It's not about checking the box. It's not about something that's done to you or for you. It's the relationship. It's the connection that you have with your manager. That's really what we're talking about, okay? Benefits. And let me go through the clicker here because I have a whopping 3 slides. So it's about the connection. I know, even if you don't want to touch, elbow, you can do that. It's okay. Connect. Actively connect. Better working relationships. When you actually sit down with your team members, or you're a team member and you come to that meeting and you're ready to talk and you're ready to actively engage, you're going to have better relationships. You're going to build that trust. You're going to be able to hold that manager accountable, and that manager is going to hold you accountable to things that you talked about in your one-to-one. Proactively resolve issues, share ideas. I know in our environmental services, we had examples of this, where those one-to-ones actually resulted in problems being solved before they blew up into something major. So they're working. opportunity to grow and develop your skills, your knowledge. As a team member, your one-to-one is your opportunity to come to that manager with your ideas, with your interest in developing within the organization, maybe within your profession. Maybe you're a nurse aide and you want to go to nursing school. This is a great place to talk about it, right? Maybe you want to be a mentor, right? Talk to your manager in your one-to-one. Raise your hand. Have those engaging conversations. That is what your one-to-one is about. Okay? We've been working on this a lot. We've trained our supervisors. We've engaged with consultants to come in and help us engage team members and managers and train them on how to conduct these meetings. We've trained team members in orientation and other ways to help them understand what a real one-to-one looks like. Additionally, there's tracking, and in your favorite place, Relias. So every quarter, there's a survey going out that says, hey, did you have a one-to-one this last 90 days? And we're going to show you the results of that in just a second. But we're looking for you to say, yes, I had a one-to-one. Or if you didn't have a one-to-one, answer, hey, I didn't have a one-to-one. Then we're going to have some conversation as to what's stopping that. What's preventing you from engaging actively having those conversations with your manager. Let's look at the results. All right, first quarter, so the first 90 days of 2026, this is a summary by location. So our friends at the Willows are doing a pretty darn good job at completing one-to-ones with their team members. We have about 9% people who aren't even answering the survey in Relias. So this is putting everybody on notice. Do your Relias. Answer your survey questions and do your Relias every single month. Dockwoods, 66% have completed one-to-ones. We have a good percentage of people there, 26, 27%, that have not completed the survey. So that means that maybe they're afraid to answer because they didn't have it. Maybe they just don't do Relias. So again, do your Relias. Get those surveys done. Managers and team members ask for and engage in those one-to-ones. Souderton, 77% have completed one-to-ones. There you go. Okay. Probably my environmental services, they do have a very good percentage individually. And then shared services, about 90%. So again, this is like a little snapshot. So feel the competition, feel the pressure. You have to start talking. If you're a manager, get on those one-to-ones. If you're a team member, ask for it and come ready to talk about yourself and things that are important to you. All right? Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Hey, I got some new spectacles up here. Are those Kristen's, baby? All right. Well, thank you all for being here today. And as I think about the things we're talking about, particularly related to team members and the things we just heard about from HR, it's connected to our strategic plan. And I just want to confirm that or affirm that again, that we have 4 parts to our strategic plan and 2 areas that we're going to talk about today, one of which was already talked about, and that is priority 1, team member engagement. So you heard some things we're working on in that whole area, and there'll be more things being rolled out in the coming year as well. But the things you heard about were very important, applicant tracking system, various things like that, one-on-ones, mentoring, all important pieces to what we do within Living Branches. So thanks to the presenters from HR, but the other presenters as well to bring us up to date on some of those areas. The other priority too is community life, and that's connected to things we're working on related to facilities and buildings, and it had to do with our capital campaign a few years ago, so there's various things in that regard. And so I do want to talk about that as well. And I'm going to move this back because I think it might be a little hard to see the slides from that side over there. How many have been in Azalea Lane, the new Azalea Lane? Great, a lot of you have been. What do you think? Nice? Yeah, it was, I was going to say Tom, but that's not the right name. The gentleman that lives over there likes to go around on his jazzy. Ted, a T, but not Tom. Ted, yes, Ted. He was always Well, he was very eagerly anticipating moving into his new room during the open house and was scoping it out, as were many others as well. But he would ask me pretty regularly, like, when is it going to be done and when can we move in? And so I know persons were really excited about that, and residents were excited. And had very good feedback related to that. But it's not just for our residents, right? Team members working at a nicer space, it's wonderful for all of you as well, and it's also wonderful for our families. I tell the story sometimes that I was on duty on Christmas Day this past Christmas, and I was at the Dockwoods campus in the newly renovated areas in healthcare there. Theirs has been done for a bit of time, but there was, the Hunsberger family was there, and the one guy was kind of dressed up like Santa Claus in Christmas pajamas, and he had a beard on, and he's playing his guitar and singing, and Mary Manning was dancing in her wheelchair. And it was wonderful to see, because part of it was the space created the opportunity for that. Some of the spaces we had before were not large enough or weren't necessarily always places people like to hang out. And so it creates spaces that people want to be part of as well, which I think is really important to family engagement, team member engagement, et cetera. So we did complete the first phase, which was in the front hallway and park view, what we used to call those areas. This is just an example of a resident room there that how it was set up. Those in Azalea Lane are all private rooms. The final phase, which we used to call Rambler, will now be part of Azalea Lane. That phase is underway, and we anticipate that being completed in November of this year. Well, when I say we're gutting the building, I mean we're gutting the building. These are pictures of the building. This left picture here is looking down through, and this used to be resident rooms. And I think the residents will be very happy to know that they will not be two people in these rooms. There'll be one person in the rooms. And you can see some concrete that was being poured there and poured up at this area as well. That was to accommodate the European showers so we could get the slopes going to the drains. But that's looking down through the resident, the old resident rooms where the guy in the orange shirt is there. That's the hallway. And this is also the hallway, looking down through the hallway. Actually, you can probably see it better if you turn around and look at the back. It's maybe brighter, but it's looking down through the hallway, and so it is completely gutted. If you wonder what is going on the roof, there's a rooftop unit going there. It's called an Energy Recovery Unit, or ERU. It's part of the new things you have to do with HVAC systems. It has a steel structure and a concrete deck, but there is a lot of work going into this, and post-retirement, I think I'm going to get into the demolition business, because there's something therapeutic about just ripping stuff apart after you had a bad day. In fact, I had a friend who was renovating a house a couple years ago, and I said, I need some demolition therapy. I'll come help you out for the weekend. But it's progressing well, but it literally is being taken apart to the walls. This is some other views of what Azalea Lane on the bottom picture. This is the courtyard. We're actually expanding what is the activities room in the healthcare area to come out into the courtyard. So that's why that activities room kept getting smaller with the interior walls. And then here is the new entrance that we put in to Azalea and Lavender Lanes and into Serenata as well. To the left there, the facade of the building, we're lowering the windows so that residents can see out more easily when they're sitting in a wheelchair or whatever. And then the facade, the face of that building will change as well. And we're also planning to get rid of the white roof there, and that'll be a metal roof eventually when we're done. So there's a lot of things going on there, and will continue to go on for the next couple months. I know this building project has gone on for a long time, and we will be very happy when it's complete, and I know those of you working in those areas will be happy to have it done as well. But I really do appreciate your resilience and your long suffering as we go through this, and at the end, it really does produce a much better area for our residents, but also for all of us as team members as well. And then the final slide is just an update on some of the things that we're working on in residential living. On the left-hand side is at Dock Woods. We are now calling that building the Laurels at Dock Woods. That shows the 2-story part of the building. Some of it will be 3-story. We're taking down 6 units and putting up 17, so we'll have a net gain of 11 units in that particular construction. It will be part of what is now Dock Acres, the cottages on the Dock Woods campus. So that's coming, hopefully even starting this summer. And then on the right is what we're still, as of now, calling the Durstein property. I would say in the next week or two, we'll have a new name that we'll be able to be using for that property. And this would be just an example of the development. These, what I would say, more orange type buildings would be duplexes, 2 units per building, and then the reddish colored ones are singles, and then there's a clubhouse in the middle. This comes off Cowpath Road, approximately across from the entrance into Kingsfield. So 69 units total. We're still working to get through all the township approvals. Some people think we might get started this fall. That would be wonderful. I would hope at the latest next spring, but we'll see what happens with that. So these are some projects, again, coming up under that priority 2 in our planning process of community life. So a lot going on right now in terms of work with team member engagement, but also with community life, and we're very excited about these opportunities for Living Branches in the future. So thank you all for being here today. And Matt and Margaret, what do we have in the back besides water? Anything? Chip witches. All right. So people like chip witches, is that right, Matt and Margaret? All right, so have a chip witch. They're in the back. I'm not going to tell you what the calories are because I have no idea, but enjoy. It's a hot day. Have a good rest of the day. Thanks for being here, and thanks for your commitment to Living Branches. Thank you.